Welcome back. Thanks for joining. In this module, we'll learn about what is a coach routine and how the coach routine interacts with the learner routine, how they both interact with each other. Once the learner has learned the learner routine, here is where the coach needs to step in and coach the learner. The coach needs to be the immediate supervisor of the learner. It is the coach's responsibility to onboard the learner on the learner routine or the improvement kata. It is also the coach's responsibility to make the learner think through the steps that he or she wants to take to achieve the target condition. For example, the coach needs to ask the learner if there are any obstacles that will prevent the learner from reaching the target condition. So, in this example, the learner wanted to identify bottleneck process steps, and the coach is asking the learner, is there anything that will prevent you from reaching there? This makes the learner think, and the learner comes up with the answer that the data is not being populated by the recruiters in the VM tracker, and this is one of the obstacles that he or she is facing, and he or she wants to address this particular obstacle. So by asking this simple question about the obstacles, the coach has made the learner realize that the immediate next step is not to jump to identify bottleneck process steps, but to do something else. So, given the fact that the learner wants to address this obstacle first, the coach again asks the question, so, what do you want to do now as your immediate next step? Which makes the learner think. And then the learner responds, I would like to have a meeting with the recruiters, explain to them the importance of populating the data in the VM tracker. So the coach again prompts the learner to think by asking the question, what do you think will happen when you take that step? This again prompts the learner to think. And then the learner responds that hopefully the recruiters will understand the why and populate the data in the VM tracker. And last but not least, the coach then asks the learner, so when can I come back and see the actual outcome of your meeting? What has actually happened as a result of your meeting? Then this also prompts the learner to think about the timeline, and the learner then responds, hopefully in 1 week's time, I should be able to have a meeting and the recruiters should be able to populate the data after they are convinced with why they have to populate the data. So as you can see, the coach routine or the coaching kata questions, the 5 questions, help the learner to think through what is it that they are planning to do. Rather than just blindly jumping into an action, the coaching kata questions help the learner to think through what is actually going to happen as a result of the action that they are going to take. And this is the role of a coach. And the coach has to be the immediate supervisor of the learner. In the next section, we'll explore what has actually happened after 1 week.